Hi friends, I welcome you all in this exciting training session being conducted by TNV Academy. Let me explain to you what we'll be covering in this today's session. In today's session, we'll be covering the class 6.2 Occupational Health and Safety Objectives and Planning to Achieve them. In today's session, we'll be covering the class 6.2 Occupational Health and Safety Objectives and Planning to Achieve them. The above class is part of the class 6 planning of ISO 45001 2018. This class comes under the plan part of the Plan, Do, Check, Act PDCA cycle or process approach. Now let us understand the internal references taken by class 6.2 of ISO 45001. As far as class 6.2 is concerned, this takes reference from the classes 5.4, 6.1.2 and 10.3 of the standard. Also, Annexure A defines the list of terms and their meaning used within the standard under several clauses so that there is no misinterpretation on any of these terms. Now let me tell you what are the key learnings takeaways from this session. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand what are the occupational health and safety objectives, how can the organization determine the occupational health and safety objectives, and what all the parameters should be considered while determining the occupational health and safety objectives. So let's begin our discussion regarding this class 6.2, objectives and planning to achieve them. As detailed under the clause 6.2.1, the occupational health and safety objectives are derived from the guiding document for the occupational health and safety management system, that is the occupational health and safety policy signed by the top management. The policy should have a framework for setting occupational health and safety objectives. The organization should establish objectives in order to maintain and improve the occupational health and safety management system and to achieve continual improvement of its performance in occupational health and safety. When determining its occupational health and safety objectives, the organization must take into account the results of the assessments of risk and opportunities from clause 6.1.2, applicable legal and other requirements, the results of consultation with the workers and, where applicable, their representatives. Occupational health and safety objectives can be integrated with other business objectives such as quality or environment and should be set at relevant functions and levels as defined and decided upon by the organization. The occupational health and safety objectives shall be monitored, be communicated, be updated as appropriate. The organization is not required to establish occupational health and safety objectives for every risk and opportunity it determines. The clause 6.2.2 states that when planning to achieve the objectives, organization shall determine what will be done, what resources will be required, who will be responsible, when will it be completed, how will the results be evaluated, how the actions to achieve the occupational health and safety objectives will be integrated into the organization's business processes. The organization shall maintain and retain documented information on occupational health and safety objectives and plans to achieve them. Significant hazards arising out of the hazard identification and risk assessment process as per 6.1.2 can be taken up for mitigation of the risk. The occupational health and safety objectives should be SMART in nature, in the sense specific, precisely what you want to achieve, measurable, quantifiable and tangible as far as possible and practicable, achievable, should be accomplished with acceptable efforts, realistic, do not set impossible targets which defeats the purpose, time-bound, to have a fixed time limit and not open-ended. The objectives must be maintained as a documented information. While planning actions to achieve the objectives, organization shall determine what will be done, specific objective quantified, what resources will be required, financial, people, infrastructure requirements, who will be responsible, one person responsible for ownership, when it will be completed, time-bound, not open-ended, to bring focus on the objective. How the results will be evaluated through review mechanism, departmental meetings, management review meetings, etc. A sample of a SMART objective would be to reduce the number of lost time injuries from the current level of 10 for 2022 to 0 by the end of December 2023 through awareness, training, and employee participation. Friends, I hope you are clear with the requirement of subclass 6.2 of ISO 45001:2018. So now we will learn about the mandatory documents that an organization has to maintain while meeting the requirements of subclass 6.2. There is mandatory documentary requirement of maintaining occupational health and safety objectives as per 6.2 of the standard. Departments to review the objectives and progress on achievement of these objectives to be recorded. Dear friends, we have come to the conclusion of this training session. I hope you all must have understood the requirements and concepts that fall under the subclass 6.2 of ISO 45001:2018. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, it's me signing off. Goodbye and thank you.